What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here to review Monday Night Raw from April 26th, 2021. Overall thoughts on the show: it was a pretty terrible show as usual. The booking was just like on the wall. It was really bad. Matches that really didn't need to happen at all. We got a really bad segment with Miz and Morrison with Elias and Jackson Ryker, which they ended up getting tomatoes thrown at them, which, yeah, WWE seems that is funny in modern times, but it really isn't. It's actually pretty embarrassing for a wrestling show. Overall, this show is pretty terrible. We got Matt Riddle just wanting to tag team with Randy Orton. RK Bro, right? I mean, he's just acting high and high on television. They're really just making a fool out of Matt Riddle nowadays. But it is what it is. The show starts with Mace and T-Bar with new ring gear, by the way. After last week, of course, they had their masks torn off. And Mace, of course, is Dio Madden. And T-Bar is, as everybody knows, Dominik Dijakovic. Why did you have to rename them in the first place for a failure of a faction called Retribution? I do not know why. I mean, Dominik Dijakovic was awesome in NXT. Dio Madden, I believe he was in the commentary team for Raw 2 years ago, but didn't last long there. And yeah, so as advertised, we got a tag match between Mace and T-Bar versus Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman. And basically, Mace and T-Bar in a backstage vignette say that they are going to show the entire world what they were always meant to be. Mace says, "No mask, no allegiance, no business." Yeah, over-scripted, that's for sure. So it's bad business, if you would say. Then we get backstage at Gorilla. We get Strowman arguing with Drew McIntyre. Both go back and forth. Strowman wants to take T-Bar and Mace on his own. Apparently now this match will be a handicap match, which is really stupid because then we're going to have a tag team match. The booking on the show is just awful. So we get a handicap match. So it's Braun Strowman versus Mace and T-Bar. Strowman fights T-Bar, sends T-Bar in the corner. Strowman is taking control of the match, sends T-Bar in the corner and takes out Mace. Splash in the corner by Strowman. Mace comes in to help T-Bar. Mace takes down Strowman. T-Bar tags in. We get double team. We go both T-Bar and Mace double team on Strowman. Mace tags in after that. Takes control over Strowman. Braun fights back. Mace later fights back. T-Bar tags in. We get double team again by both Mace and T-Bar on Braun Strowman. They both keep on repeatedly stomping on Strowman in the corner. And the referee just stops the match. I don't know why, but it is a handicap match. Who knows? Booking on here is just awful. And then all of a sudden, McIntyre and Mace, McIntyre just comes in to quote-unquote make the save. And then, McIntyre and Mace face off. And then we get a tag match as originally advertised with McIntyre and Strowman versus Mace and T-Bar. Okay, you could have just had the tag match as soon as the show started. You really had to have a handicap match. It makes no sense. One of the reasons why this show sucks is the lack of logic. You could have just had the tag match at all. You didn't need this stupid you instantly sanction a handicap match just because Strowman says, "Oh, I want this to be a handicap match," and then all of a sudden just McIntyre just stays in the back and Gorilla and be like, "Okay, just do it." Isn't McIntyre supposed to be the fucking babyface? I don't know why. It's ridiculous. But yeah, whatever. McIntyre and T-Bar start. We get a couple chops by T-Bar, slaps by T-Bar. T-Bar slaps McIntyre back. Mace tags in. Both double team on McIntyre. Mace plants McIntyre to the mat. We get a 2 count. McIntyre fights back. A Russian leg sweep by McIntyre on Mace. Both members of their respective teams tag their partners. Strowman splashes T-Bar in the corner. Strowman misses when T-Bar ducks in the corner. McIntyre tags in. We get a neck breaker on T-Bar. McIntyre goes to the top. A clothesline off the top. T-Bar picks McIntyre up. We get a Future Shock DDT counter by McIntyre. We get a 2 count when Mace interferes. Strowman comes in and fights off Mace. Strowman and McIntyre try to work together outside of the ring but clothesline each other. T-Bar and Mace win by countout. Yes, they won by countout. Don't know why, but it is what it is. Then all of a sudden we get a running power slam by Strowman on McIntyre after that happened. Honestly, what are my thoughts on this? This makes Strowman look really dumb. Like, I don't know, like... So basically what happened is that both McIntyre and Strowman just clothesline each other outside of the ring by accident. And then all of a sudden Strowman just power slams McIntyre over that. Like, I mean, like, bro, you should know. You shouldn't be that stupid to be like, oh, yeah, it was an accident. Like, these writers that are writing this show are really dumb. Like, why would you make Strowman just, like, angry over an accident? Like, shouldn't he know? Like, it's so stupid. But yeah, we get overall thoughts on this match. We get terrible booking. Like, why do you advertise a tag match? Then as soon as the show starts, you proceed to have a handicap match that ends in a fiasco, and then all of a sudden you book a tag match that you advertised earlier on. I don't understand why. One of the reasons why the show sucks. Another reason is the commentary. Now, so the new commentator, Aiden Burke, he was trending on Twitter during the show while the show was on the air, and he's the lead commentator for Raw. Apparently Nick Khan, no relation to Tony Khan, by the way, was the one that wanted Aiden Burke. Apparently he does commentary. He does work at MLB Network, apparently. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he was trending on Twitter. A lot of people were not really that big of a fan of his work. I agree. I mean, like, one of the tweets I saw, this person said, turned off Raw and heard Aiden Burke say, we're going to need a bigger boat. And they turned off Raw. It goes to show you that, like, literally, look, I understand that he's still green, but the fact that you put him, like, you instantly just gave him a job on your flagship show on Raw is ridiculous. You could have put him on, like, a 205 Live or a main event or something like that to really see what he can bring to the table, but WWE thought, oh, this guy's a sports analyst. He knows how to do this and all that stuff. Okay, I do believe that wrestling is a sport, but at the same time, we shouldn't be stupid to know that this is a worked sport, and this is all predetermined. And the sports entertainment or professional wrestling business, whatever you want to call it, is completely different than the actual sports business. I mean, especially in WWE. I mean, like in AEW, they give guys like Excalibur, Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone a lot of freedom to speak their mind out, because that's what you should do. Granted, Tony Khan does give them maybe some things to say, but he doesn't yell like kind of like Vince McMahon. Because Vince McMahon, this guy's in his 70s, and like he will still yell at you on the headset. And like the fact that Aiden Burke said we're going to need a bigger boat. I mean, like, come on, man. I understand he's green, though, so I'm not going to give him all that hate. But I'm really going to put the blame on WWE for this. I mean, like, you can't just give a guy that has no experience in the wrestling business do commentary for your flagship show. I mean, like, you should at least, like, put him on, like, I don't know, a C-level show to really test him out of the waters to see what he brings to the table. And I don't think WWE did that. I feel like they were desperate enough to be like, oh, we want to be more sports oriented, so let's bring in this guy from MLB Network. He knows stuff. And I'm like, bruh, there's more than just commentary. Like AEW, their original, and I'm comparing this to AEW, by the way, and rightfully so. Their original philosophy was, hey, we're going to be sports-centric. We're going to have statistics, all that stuff. We're going to have a win-loss record. Wins and losses count in AEW. And in the beginning of Dynamite, they have, they did focus a lot on that win-loss record. And they still do to this day. It's just I feel like it's kind of dimmed down a little bit. Not that much. They still mention it, which is great, and the rankings are still there. It's just that they kind of dimmed down because of a lot of the stuff that's going on right now. But wins and losses matter in AEW. In WWE, they don't matter at all. They just book random matches that make no sense whatsoever. They do either DQ finishes, interference, like if they have a one-on-one match, they do a one-on-one match. It ends in a DQ. A whole brawl literally happens. We go to commercial break, and then there's a freaking tag team match sanctioned like out of nowhere. It makes no sense whatsoever, and the commentary is just terrible. Like the commentary team on Raw now is Aiden Burke, Corey Graves, and I believe Byron Saxton. I'm not a fan of Byron Saxton either. I never was a fan of Byron Saxton, in my opinion. Look, he can be a great person. Look, I'm not going to, like, diss him like legit because it's a lot of the lines that he has given. So we can criticize the people on the commentary team, but at the end of the day, we have to put the blame on the guys in Gorilla. They're giving them the lines that they're needed to, that they're giving the lines that the commentators are giving the lines that people in Gorilla give. You know what I mean? And like the only person in this commentary team that really like carries it is Corey Graves, because I still think Corey Graves is great. I feel like he kind of went downhill a little bit, but Corey Graves is a great commentator and he knows what he's talking about. And at the end of the day, he's a wrestling fan, so he knows what he's talking about and he knows how to tell a story. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Adam Pearce is backstage with Drew McIntyre. All of a sudden, McIntyre wants a match with Braun Strowman tonight. So we get McIntyre versus Braun Strowman tonight. And then Adam Pearce instantly says yes. Okay, typical babyface thing, of course. When it comes to babyfaces, especially like the top guys in WWE, like they try to book him so strong, like Superman, it's not even funny. But like, especially when Vince is at the helm, and Vince is at the helm, he's writing this stuff with Bruce Pritchard and stuff, and Bruce Pritchard is another one. Like, he does not know what he's doing. I think the creative in Raw is the worst that it has been in years. And look, I'd rather watch Raw in 2015 and 2016. Both Raws from, like, even before the draft, like, they were bad Raws, but at least they weren't as bad to the point where I didn't want to tune out. In this case, I wanted to tune out so bad. That's how bad this show is. Next up, we get Miz TV, John Morrison, and The Miz, with guests Jackson, Ryker, and Elias. The Miz talks about his new WWE 24 documentary, which I still didn't see yet. I heard it was really good, but I didn't watch it. It talks about the after Raw that Miz and Mrs. will air, which, by the way, Miz and Mrs. is actually not that bad of a show. I actually really enjoy Mrs. and Mrs. It's actually really funny. But whatever. This is wrestling we're talking about. We're not talking about reality shows, but apparently the Miz is talking about it. Says that they are in honor of they're honored that Bad Bunny is making history about selling out his tour, and they send a congratulations and they say that they take full credit for that sellout. Bruh, Bad Bunny sold that tour out by himself. Okay. I mean, like, I know it's scripted and all, but like, bro, you really gonna go that far? Like, that's one of the dumbest. Like, everybody sees through your BS. Like, everybody sees through WWE's BS, and people are not that stupid. Okay, like WWE tries to make everybody look so stupid. Everybody watching, people like me, people like you watching this video, they try to insult your intelligence. Okay, that's what they do. All right, says that Elias later talks about how they're on par with Bad Bunny, and then all of a sudden they sing a crappy song, which I'm not going to repeat here. What they sing, I don't even know what they sang. It was terrible, stupid segment. Then Damien Priest comes out. He talks about how The Miz lost to Bad Bunny at WrestleMania, which, by the way, Bad Bunny wrestling at WrestleMania, I was there. It was awesome. This guy pulled a P.D. Williams and hit a Canadian Destroyer outside the ring on Morrison. I have a video of that actually on my phone of me just marking out over a freaking Canadian Destroyer, which I do think it's the best finisher in the history of professional wrestling. But yeah, the New Day come out and they proceed. I'm not joking here. They proceed to throw tomatoes. I'm being so serious. They throw tomatoes at Miz and Morrison and Elias and Ryker. Is that supposed to be funny? I mean, like, it can be funny, but it's funny for all the wrong reasons. It's not funny because they're being thrown tomatoes. It's funny because of how bad this segment is. That's how bad it is. Like, you're a wrestling show, right? And you can have over-the-top stuff in wrestling. I mean, I'm not counting that out at all. I'm just saying, like, bro, at least if you're going to put something that's funny, make it funny. I look back at Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho in AEW, even as a heel, like, he was sadistic, but at the same time made you laugh whenever he wanted to. But even before AEW, when he was in WWE with The List, oh my God, I laughed my ass off. I loved The List, and literally it was one of the most entertaining things. Like, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho were one of the best things on Raw during that time. And, like, now, I mean, like, they're just trying to, like, I feel like they're just trying to make you tune out, because I feel like that's how bad the show is. They're trying to make you tune out. It's really dumb. We go to commercial break, and we get Miz, Elias, and Jackson Ryker versus Damien Priest, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods in a 6-man tag. All right, notes on this match. Jackson Ryker works on Xavier Woods, power slams Xavier Woods. Elias tags in. We get an uppercut on Woods. Rolling elbow by Woods on Elias. Miz tags in. Headlock by Woods on Miz. Kingston tags in. A double team on Miz. Cover by Kingston. 2 count. Woods tags in. We get a clothesline by Woods. A splash and an elbow by Woods. Kingston drops the Miz. Damien Priest tags in. Then Jackson Ryker tags in. Both lock up. We get a headlock by Ryker. Priest uses his MMA background on Ryker. Miz tags in. Priest works on the Miz after that. Kingston tags in. Kofi frog splashes Elias from the top. Miz tags in. Kofi goes to the top, but Elias takes him out. We get a big boot by the Miz on Kofi outside of the ring. Miz works on Kingston. Elias tags in. Works on Kofi. We get a side slam by Elias. Clothesline by Elias. Ryker tags in. He's working on Kofi. Then we later get a sleeper hold by Ryker on Kofi. Kofi fights back. Suplex by Ryker. Elias tags in. We got a sliding forearm by Elias on Kofi. Kofi begins to fight back. Miz tags in. Then we get the yes kicks. The yes kicks by the Miz. Which, I mean, I do think that Daniel Bryan will be going to Raw because he's going to be facing Roman Reigns this Friday. Kofi hits the SOS on the Miz. Then Damien Priest tags in. Elias tags in. Priest is working on Elias and Ryker. We get a clothesline by Priest on Elias. Priest hits a spinning kick from the top on Elias. We get a 2 count when Miz kicks Priest in the head. We get a broken arrow. Woods tries to drop Elias from the top, but Elias counters with a knee. Then Jackson Ryker tags in. Then Kofi later tags in. We get a triple team on Ryker. 2 count. Priest jumps over the top. Ryker works on Xavier Woods. Elias to the top, but Woods takes him out. Woods applies an inside cradle on Ryker and gets the 3 count for the win. Thoughts? Terrible booking, but not a bad match. I mean, this was not a bad 6-man tag. But, yeah, it is what it is. We get a backstage segment with Sonya Deville looking for Charlotte. She finds her hiding in the steps. As you guys all know, in kayfabe, she was suspended because she attacked a referee. And I crap you not, like, I forgot that she was suspended in kayfabe. I was like, oh, I forgot. Like, literally, that's how forgettable the show is. All right. We come back to commercial break, and we get Sonya Deville in the ring, and she welcomes Charlotte. The official says that the official that Charlotte hit last week is standing by, who is the referee. Sonya allows Charlotte to speak. Charlotte spent a week reflecting about what she did. Says that she apologizes to everyone, such as fans, management, and the referee. Says that she is sorry. The referee accepts his apology. And Charlotte's suspension has been lifted because she did pay that $100,000 fine. Okay, one problem I have with this is, why is Charlotte's... I get that it's in kayfabe, but, like, bruh, after a week, like, shouldn't she be suspended for, like, a month or something? Like, that's so stupid. Like, after a week, that is way too early in kayfabe. For kayfabe standards, that is way too early to, like, unsuspend somebody. But it is what it is. Also, we learn that she will return to in-ring action. Charlotte says that the referee said that it was also his mistake, and she demands an apology. The referee apologizes, and yeah. What are my thoughts? I could care less. Last week I did say, like, they were probably gonna do something with Charlotte, to the point where, like, they're probably gonna have her win another title, which Charlotte does not need another title, in my opinion. Like, it makes no sense for her to have another belt. Like, isn't she like a 13-time women's champion already? Give that opportunity to other people. You know what I mean? Don't. I used to give Charlotte this name before I started this channel, Miss Creative Control, which I don't think she has creative control, but, like, I used to be like, Miss Creative Control back in Gorilla, Miss Creative Control. But, like, come on, man. Like, really, if she ends up winning another title, I'm really gonna be upset, because, like, other women deserve that opportunity. Charlotte has had as many titles as she needed. Like, look, she's a great wrestler, but, like, I'm just saying, like, just because she has the last name Flair, you don't have to book her as the greatest women's wrestler of all time just because of her last name. That's just my opinion. It makes no sense whatsoever. All right. Priest is backstage and is not happy about the decision that Sonya made. Sheamus, so yeah, we get Adam Pearce, and he's just not happy with Sonya Deville. What is this going to lead to? I do not know. All right. Next up, we get Sheamus coming out of the ring. We go to commercial break, and then all of a sudden, when we come back from commercial break, we get Adam Pearce backstage. He talks to Strowman, says that McIntyre did not pin him in the number one contenders match. He wants a title match at Backlash if he beats McIntyre. I refuse to call that WrestleMania Backlash. I mean, I get it. It's the retaliation. I mean, and that's the least of the problems with WWE, especially Raw. Like, the shows are just god awful, but like, I mean, you don't have to just call it WrestleMania Backlash. I mean, the WrestleMania name has value, and you can sell a lot with that name, but like, just call it Backlash. Everybody knows it's the Backlash of WrestleMania. You don't have to call it WrestleMania Backlash. Like, I'm just gonna be calling it Backlash. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the least of the problems. But I just wanted to get that out of the way. Like, you don't have to call it WrestleMania Backlash. Like, just call it Backlash. But yeah, he says he wants a title match at Backlash if he beats McIntyre. Pierce says that Strowman will get that opportunity if he does beat McIntyre. So yeah, later on tonight it will be Strowman versus McIntyre. Whoever wins will. Well, no, not whoever wins. If Braun wins, he will get that title shot. All right, we got Sheamus in the ring. He says that he could watch the things he did last week over and over. He says that he will be a fighting champion. He says that Humberto Carrillo does not belong in the ring with him. He says that he could still not step up at his level. He says that he's going to do the open challenge again. He says that the title will not be on the line. Then after that, Sheamus comes out. No, he literally tries to call somebody out. Then it's Humberto Carrillo. He comes out and faces Sheamus. Sheamus says that he's loco. Sheamus attacks Humberto. Humberto fights back, sends him outside the ring. Sheamus tries to come back in the ring, but Humberto does a couple drop kicks, then proceeds to hit a suicide dive on Sheamus. No match. It was just a segment. What are my thoughts? I could care less. I mean, Humberto Carrillo is great, but like, I mean, when are we like? He did say he's gonna do an open challenge, but like, when are you gonna start the open challenge? I mean, last week you didn't have no match, and this week you had no match whatsoever. So is it an open challenge? I don't think so. Again, terrible booking and terrible creative. All right, where is that? We get Bobby Lashley backstage. MVP says that Braun Strowman hasn't been added to any title match. Says that the reality is that they have some grievances to address, and says that he has a couple scoops, but he won't give those scoops. That was the backstage segment with Lashley and MVP. What are my thoughts on Bobby Lashley and MVP? I actually really enjoy Bobby Lashley. It's about time he's the WWE champion. They did the right creative decision at WrestleMania. They made the right decision by having McIntyre literally just pass out with that. I believe it was the Hurt Lock. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember. I only watched. I was there live, but I don't remember. I didn't watch the match over. So yeah, but they made the right decision for Lashley to retain the title. I mean, if they had McIntyre win the belt, I mean, like, it would be ridiculously predictable, and I just hate when stuff is obvious in WWE. Like, when it's predictable in WWE especially, like, they do this all the time. It's ridiculous. I don't like it. All right. Rhea Ripley's back. We get a backstage interview with Rhea Ripley. She comments on Charlotte's apology, says that she's focused on her tag match, and she is focused on being the Raw Women's Champion. Yeah, it is what it is. Rhea Ripley, she's great. I do think, though, she's been, in recent weeks, she has been, like, starting to be over-scripted more often, and I don't like that. Just let Rhea Ripley be Rhea Ripley. Do not give her over. See, that's my problem with WWE, especially now, and it's on both Raw and SmackDown, but I feel like it happens a lot more on Raw. They love over-scripting their wrestlers all the time, and it sucks. I don't like it. Like, why do you have to over-script everybody? Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. Just give them bullet points and just let them be them. You don't have to just you don't have to put handcuffs on these people. Like, just let them be them. Give them a topic, give them bullet points, and just let them speak their mind out. Like, you don't have to give them lines. It's ridiculous. They have to say everything word by word, and I hate that. That's one of the reasons why WWE nowadays sucks. It's too, I hate saying the word fake, but like, it's just too, how do I say it? It's just too more, it's more like a movie now, and like more like a play, and less than a wrestling show. You know what I mean? And I just don't like that. I just really don't. All right. Now we got Bobby Lashley and MVP outside the ring. Well, not outside, in the ring. Lashley says that he is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Says that when he made McIntyre pass out, he demanded respect. Says that he defended his title against Drew and will beat Drew again at WrestleMania Backlash. Says that possibly adding Braun is disrespectful to them. MVP says that Bobby Lashley has been a champion for a while and that the title could be in jeopardy. And yeah, Lashley says that he will leave Backlash still the WWE champion. I do believe that will be the best booking decision. Lashley should keep that belt up until at least like the summer. If McIntyre wins the title, it would be really predictable, and nobody wants to see that. Look, McIntyre is awesome, but at the same time, like, give opportunity to other people. And Raw is in desperate need of baby faces, so I do believe that Daniel Bryan will be moving to Raw. He will not be winning the Universal title. Hate to break it, though. He will not be winning the Universal title this Friday on SmackDown against Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns should not lose at all. Like, if he's going to lose, like, maybe he should lose to a guy like maybe like Cesaro, but like Roman Reigns, at the end of the day, he shouldn't be losing. I mean, he's going to be holding on to that belt for like the rest of the year, up until like next year's WrestleMania, in my opinion. Like, Roman Reigns is awesome, and he's going to be going over in that match against Bryan this Friday. Bryan is going to be probably moving over to Raw, and at the end of the day, he's probably going to be in the WWE title picture, which is not bad. And people better not complain. People better not complain, because like literally, people wanted to see Bryan and McIntyre. No, not Bryan McIntyre. People wanted to see Bryan and Reigns, and then when Edge and Roman was announced, which shouldn't have happened, by the way, everybody was like, "Oh, why not Daniel Bryan go in?" And then all of a sudden, when Daniel Bryan implemented himself in that match, everybody on Twitter just got mad, which I don't understand. See, that's the illogic of, like, you know, some people. I don't want to say illogic. That sounds disrespectful. I apologize, but you know what I mean? Like, some people got mad, and I'm like, why are you mad? Like, this could possibly be the best book. Adding Daniel Bryan in that match was a great decision, in my opinion. Daniel Bryan is great. But Roman went over, and that was that. He has to go over, and he will go over throughout the entirety of this year. And he will be a dominant heel. I don't think if they ever turn Roman babyface this year, I don't think that should happen. They should just keep Roman as a heel. Roman Reigns' heel work is awesome. But yeah, that's SmackDown talk. We're talking about the crappy show that's called Raw. All right, we got Matt Riddle backstage, and we get a backstage interview with Riddle, but I'm gonna call him Matt Riddle because I don't believe in Riddle. I believe in Matt Riddle. Says that he feels awesome, bro. Talks about how he beat Randy Orton last week, bro. Orton comes in and says that they have nothing in common. Says that he earned his respect. Orton says that they will have a tag team match tonight. RK bro. So yeah, they're possibly teasing a tag team with Matt Riddle and Randy Orton. RK bro. Which, I mean, it sounds cool, but like, I'm not gonna lie. Matt Riddle should be in a better position. He shouldn't be in this garbage. I mean, I do believe that he should be pushed. Like, he should be in the main event. Like, dude, this guy's a star, in my opinion. He will be a star one day. But, like, they're just acting like he's the current version of RVD, where, like, he has that cool whatever mentality, but, like, I feel like Matt Riddle has that cool whatever mentality of RVD just, like, 100 times more. Like, that's just my opinion. I mean, they're basically just... They're making him look like a joke and just be like a guy that's always high. Like, oh yeah, man. Like, I've seen a giraffe, and like it's like, you know, my God, it was so tall. It was an awesome giraffe. Like that. Like something like that. That's basically Matt Riddle. All right, we get Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Reginald backstage talking about Charlotte. Shayna says that the last thing that they need is distractions. Shayna wants no more distractions. Nia gets flowers by Angel Garza. And yeah, she gets excited. And then all of a sudden, she just throws those at Mandy Rose. And I'm like, bruh. Okay. You were so happy with those flowers that you got from Angel Garza. And then all of a sudden, you just threw them at Mandy Rose. It's so stupid. All right, whatever. But it's WWE we're talking about. I mean, nothing makes sense on this show. We get Braun Strowman backstage with MVP. Strowman says that there will be nothing that will stop him from winning the WWE title at Backlash, which, yeah, but, like, you think he's going to be winning the title at Backlash? I don't think so. He's not going to be winning the title. What? Braun Strowman? I mean, Braun Strowman should have gotten pushed, like, back in, like, 2017, where, like, fans actually like liked Braun Strowman, and he was over with the fans. Nowadays, like, I mean, granted, we're still in the age of COVID, but, like, bro, like, nobody cares about Braun Strowman. No disrespect to Braun, but, like, I'm not that big of a fan of Braun Strowman. I don't believe in him right now. Like, he's not believable to me. You know what I mean? All right, we got Randy Orton and Matt Riddle versus Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Match starts. Alexander and Riddle start. Riddle takes down Alexander. We get a bro mission applied, but Alexander escapes. Alexander applies the knee bar, and Shelton tags in. He works on Riddle. Riddle fights back. Shelton counters Riddle's kick. Shelton is targeting the knee of Riddle. Alexander tags in. Then he is working on the knee of Riddle. Shelton tags in, and he takes Riddle to the corner. Double team on the knee of Riddle. Alexander is still targeting the knee. Knee to the face of Riddle in the corner by Alexander. Benjamin tags in and is working on Riddle's leg once again. Riddle gets his hand on the bottom rope. Alexander tags in. Riddle fights back. Counter kick by Riddle. Orton tags in. They both fight off both Shelton and Cedric. Then sends Orton in the corner, but Orton hits a clothesline on Benjamin. Benjamin hits a spinning kick on Orton. Power slam by Randy Orton. Orton later proceeds to hit a RKO from midair on Cedric Alexander. Orton is about to give him the DDT. Riddle tags in. Then he hits the floating bro on Cedric and wins the match. What are my thoughts? Not that bad of a match, but yeah, do I think RK Bro is going to be a thing? Maybe. And you never know. That maybe it may be a good thing, but, like, I have no faith in WWE whatsoever. I mean, like, Matt Riddle should be in a higher position in the card. He shouldn't be in a tag team. Because, I mean, if he was in a tag team that, with the tag team division that actually, like, made sense, like, speaking of tag teams, where is AJ Styles and Omos? Didn't they win the tag titles at WrestleMania? Like, where are they? You know what I mean? Like, that, you see, it goes to show you, like, WWE does not care about tag teams. Tag team wrestling is dead to these people. Like, they don't enjoy, like, when it comes to tag teams, WWE just loves putting people together with no story or no background whatsoever. That, it is what it is, and it sucks. I hate that. Like, focus on tag team wrestling more often. Have actual tag teams. Because when you watch AEW, like, granted, the show kind of went a little downhill when it came to the card standards, because, like, I can remember times where every week on Dynamite they had, like, almost the entire card was just all flat out tag matches and nothing else. But they kind of lowered on that, and it was more singles matches now, which is awesome. But, like, they still put their emphasis on the tag team division, which is awesome. You need to focus on your tag team division. Like, there's barely any tag teams on both rosters. I don't know why you have two tag titles. Like, in each division, Raw and SmackDown, you have, like, 3 tag teams in each division. Like, just merge them. Merge those divisions, because, like, tag team wrestling just sucks on the main roster of WWE. NXT is a different story. NXT actually has an awesome tag team division, and they do have the best women's roster in the world. But that's a different story. All right, we get Naomi, Lana, and Asuka versus Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Rhea Ripley. Another 6-man tag, but it is what it is. Baszler and Asuka start the match. Baszler works on Asuka. Rhea tags in, works on Asuka. Knee to the face by Asuka. Naomi tags in. We got a double team by Lana and Naomi on Rhea Ripley. Roll up by Lana. We got a 2 count. A headbutt by Ripley on Lana. Suplex by Ripley on Lana. Rhea's working on Lana. Lana tries to fight back. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke come in, doing the same crap that they did last week, which makes no sense. Why are they entering themselves in this match? Like, what's the story behind this? Why? I don't understand. Literally, I don't understand why this is going on. Shayna gets a bucket of water thrown at her. I'm being so serious right now. Shayna Baszler gets a bucket of water just thrown at her. If that does not scream what WWE thinks of Shayna Baszler, I don't know what is. Like, that's just a joke. And Nia Jax slips, which I'll admit I laughed. That was funny. But having Shayna Baszler getting thrown that bucket of water, like, That's just a crime. Like, really? This is what you think of Shayna Baszler? A joke? That is ridiculous. Shayna later continues to work on Lana. Corey Graves says that Raw could be an episode of Double Bear. You're right. But one thing you said, it could be an episode of Double Bear? No, it is an episode of Double Bear. Asuka tags in, works on Baszler, cover and 2 count, kicks to the face of Baszler. Nia tags in, she slams Asuka, elbow drop by Nia on Asuka, Samoan drop by Nia Jax on Asuka. Asuka ducks and Nia hits the turnbuckle. Naomi tags in and hits a splash. She works on Nia. We get a springboard enziguri by Naomi, which looked beautiful, by the way, on Nia Jax. Regional tries to interfere. Rhea tags in. Rhea drops Naomi in the face. Drops Naomi face first. We get a cover and 2 count by Rhea. Lana tags in, but Naomi gets hit with the Riptide. Lana hits a splash on Rhea, and she gets a 2 count. Rhea catches Lana, but Lana hits a crucifix, but gets a 2 count. Nia tags in. Leg drop by Nia, and wins the match. Overall thoughts? Not that bad. I don't even want to say not that bad. I mean, it was an match. One complaint that I have is, why is Rhea Ripley teaming up with Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax? Isn't Rhea Ripley the babyface? And isn't Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler the heels? So where's the story there, and why are you teaming a babyface with a heel? I don't understand. That makes no sense, and that's a bad booking decision. That makes no sense whatsoever. Absolutely no sense. All right. Backstage, we get Sonya Deville confronting Brooke and Rose and says that she has a match with Charlotte. Great. All right. Now we get Alexa Bliss with Alexa's Playground. She basically cuts a promo talking about her toy, Lily. I'm not even going to repeat what she said because I didn't even write it down, but from first glance of watching this, look, I did say that Alexa Bliss is doing the best work of her career, and I do agree with that. But sometimes, when it comes to over-the-top stuff like this, I want to tune out because I don't like over-the-top stuff in wrestling. I love realism in wrestling. That's what I like in wrestling. Like, I love realism. Like, everybody knows it's a predetermined show. Like, everybody knows it's a scripted show, but like, at least try to make it realistic. You know what I mean? You don't have to add all these demonic powers, all this crap. Like, I remember I sent out this, I tweeted this a couple weeks ago, like, literally before WrestleMania, like a few weeks before WrestleMania. Alexa Bliss is basically in the position of Tiffany from Bride of Chucky, when she was like doing that, like, you know, pentagram stuff. Like, she was basically in the role of Tiffany in Bride of Chucky, in my opinion. And in this segment, bro, I feel like I'm watching a freaking horror movie instead of watching Raw. I mean, this whole show is a horror movie, and it's not a good one. Like, Raw is the equivalent of a horror movie reboot or remake. That's bad. It's basically the Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 remake. It is what it is. All right. Now we got Charlotte Flair versus Mandy Rose. Charlotte is working on Mandy. We get a clothesline by Charlotte by Mandy. Dana Brooke tries to interfere. Mandy fights back. Dropkick on the top by Mandy Rose. Mandy fights off Charlotte. Charlotte almost bumps into the same referee she attacked last week, and that she apologized this week. And she just argues with the referee. She's like, "Do your job. Do your job." Like something like that. Charlotte covers Mandy with the 2 count. Charlotte confronts the referee. Mandy takes advantage on Charlotte. We get a pinfall and a 2 count twice by Mandy Rose. Then we get a natural selection by Charlotte for the win. Pretty substandard match. Everybody should have known that Charlotte was going to go over in this match. You think she was going to lose to Mandy Rose? Like, Charlotte is Charlotte. Like, she ain't going to lose to Mandy Rose. Everybody knows that. And yeah. What are my thoughts? I mean, it was not that bad of a match, but like, I mean, everybody knew that Charlotte was going to go over, so like, I'm not surprised. All right, we got a interview with Drew McIntyre. Says that he is not disappointed. Says that Strowman is a monster complainer. I wonder where you got that line from. Vince McMahon. Says that he will end with a Claymore kick. Typical WWE Vince McMahon babyface promo. And what I mean by Vince McMahon babyface promo is like, Vince McMahon, like, orchestrates all these lines. This stuff comes straight from the head of Vince McMahon. He's a great businessman, but creatively, in 2021, no. All right. We get Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman. If Braun Strowman wins, he gets added to the title match at WrestleMania Backlash against McIntyre and Lashley. Match starts. Both fight it out. Braun is no-selling Drew's shoulder tackles. Then we get a strong shoulder tackle by Strowman. Drew drop kicks the knee of Strowman. Drew targets the knee. McIntyre goes to the top, but Strowman catches Drew and drops him to the mat. Bobby Lashley comes in and watches the match outside of the ring. Strowman is taking control over McIntyre. We got a sleeper hold by McIntyre on Strowman. We got a belly-to-belly suplex by McIntyre. Drew covers and gets a 2 count. Drew tries to go for the Claymore, but Strowman counters with a powerbomb and gets a 2 count. Strowman goes down. Drew goes for a spine buster and a 2 count. Drew tries to go for a future shock DDT. Strowman takes Drew to the top. Strowman hits a suplex from the top turnbuckle. Drew kicks out at 2. Strowman hits Drew in the chest. Strowman hits a splash in the corner. Lashley tries to interfere, then later MVP tries to interfere. We get a future shock DDT by Drew. Drew tries to hit the Claymore kick, but then we get a power slam by Strowman, and Strowman wins the match and pins McIntyre. And we'll face Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley at Backlash. What are my thoughts on this match? Overall, it was your typical Raw main event. I mean, nobody cared. By the third hour, like, you're just done. Like, in my opinion, the longest hour for Raw is the second hour. Like, the first hour can go by quick. But the second hour, oh my God, it's the longest hour in the world. There's a lot of stuff crammed into it to the point where you're like, oh, it must be like, 9:50, we're about to hit 10. Yay, finally, we're headed to the third hour. No, it's like you got like 5 segments in like, by the end of those 5 segments, it's only like 15 minutes within the second hour, which is crazy. They just cram a lot of stuff that makes no sense in this show, and that's one of the problems with it. And also the commentary and the illogical booking. Like, there's a lot of illogical booking that makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, first off, how do you just lift Charlotte's suspension after a week? Where's the logic in that? I mean, yeah, she did pay her in kayfabe, not in real life. In kayfabe, she paid her $100,000 fine, which is over-exaggerated, by the way. Like, $100,000? You think that's too much for a fine? Oh my God, $100,000? You should have at least fined her maybe like, I don't know, $10,000 or something. $100,000? That is over-exaggerated. Come on now. Strowman being added to this match, I mean, like, who cares? Like I personally don't care at all. Like, if Strowman, like, who honestly believes that Strowman is going to win this match? I don't think he's going to win this match. Some people say that McIntyre may just go over in this match and retain the belt and just have another run there. I don't think it's the right decision. I think Lashley should just keep the title up until like maybe like SummerSlam and have a program with maybe like a Daniel Bryan or hell, maybe even a Brock Lesnar. We don't know where Brock Lesnar is. There's I think there's still rumors of his return. Correct me if I'm wrong. I hope he does return. It kind of makes me miss Brock Lesnar now, but it is what it is. But yeah, what are my thoughts on Raw? This show was terrible. There was a lot of illogical booking. There was a lot of stupid stuff that happened on this show. The matches were not bad, but just the outcomes and just the stupidity when it comes to like different segments. Like, bro, you had The Miz, Morrison, Elias, and Ryker just get literally just have tomatoes thrown at him. If that does not define WWE for you, I don't know what does. Like, WWE honestly believes that stuff is funny. Like, Damien Priest, like, he shouldn't be put in that predicament. Like, Damien Priest, instead of booking Damien Priest like that, book Damien Priest as like this unstoppable babyface force, like this unstoppable guy that literally, like, will just build him up for the rest of the year. See if he gets over once fans come back, because I do believe by the end of this year, probably, because SummerSlam is going to be having fans regardless. But like, I do believe that Priest is over. Priest is over. I do believe that he will be over once fans come back, and people will react positively towards Damien Priest. Why not build up Damien Priest and actually make a new star, because that's what WWE needs to do. They need to make new stars, but instead they focus more on providing content and just focus on a lot of nostalgia. They're bringing back a lot of stuff that us fans wanted to bring back maybe a couple years ago, but they did it way too late and nobody cares about it anymore. That's the issue. And just, this show is terrible. It's horrible. SmackDown's a much better show. There's still a few issues with SmackDown, but I'm actually, for myself, SmackDown is not it's not that bad. It's not a bad show, and it's not a bad show to the point where I want to tune out. In this case with Raw is a show that really gets me so angry that I don't even want to take notes, and I actually really want to just tune out and just watch I don't know, the Spider-Man trilogy or something like that. I have better things to do than watch Raw, but I have a channel, so I'm going to review the show. And plus, I want the show to get better. You know what I mean? I feel like when it comes to the ratings, Raw last week did a 1.9. I do believe that they will go down to maybe a 1.8 or 1.7. But AEW, they 2 weeks ago they hit a 1.1, 1.2, then they dropped to a 1.1. At least they're still maintaining that million mark. Who knows what Blood and Guts is going to do? I did predict it too. I will kind of backtrack on that. Maybe they will get maybe a 1.3 or 1.4, but I do believe that Dynamite will at one point at some point in the coming months, maybe not now, but they will in the coming months surpass Raw. And they're not head to head, which is great. They shouldn't be head to head. Because if Dynamite ever went head to head against Raw, I do believe Raw will still dominate them in the ratings, in my opinion. But at the same time, it would probably light a fire in WWE, and they'd probably try to make Raw a better show. So yeah, Raw was a terrible show, and it was what it was. But hey, if they keep doing really bad shows like this, it's gonna bite them in the ass. If once it bites them in the ass, they will probably start trying to make better shows. But still, these people are making all the money that they are making. They got the NBC Universal deal, they got the Fox deal, they got the Peacock money that they're getting. Dude, these people are making bank, and all they care about is just putting out content and not putting out quality content. These people are they don't care about the quality of the show. They just care about quantity. And it shouldn't be quantity over quality. It should be the other way around. It should be quality over quantity. That's what WWE needs to do. And yeah, that was my review of this terrible show known as Monday Night Raw, or more like Saturday Morning Slam. This has been Broken Havoc. This was my Raw review. And this has been Broken Havoc. Signing out.